$50 is a fixed number. What it purchases is not. The same bill that barely covers a mediocre hotel room in one country funds an entire day of luxury in another. Food, accommodation, and transport for 24 hours. The identical $50 allocation produces dramatically different realities depending solely on where you spend it. Some countries stretch that budget into experiences that feel wealthy. Others exhaust it before lunch arrives. This disparity is not intuitive. Expensive countries sometimes surprise with affordable pockets. Cheap countries sometimes hide costs that drain budgets faster than expected. What follows is the actual breakdown of what $50 per day purchases across 10 countries. Not averages, specifics. Food, hotel, and transport itemized to show exactly where your money goes and what quality it delivers. The psychology of daily budgets shapes travel decisions more than travelers realize. $50 represents the threshold where comfort meets constraint for most visitors. Below that number, sacrifice begins. Above it, experiences expand. But the meaning of that threshold shifts entirely based on local economics. A $50 day in Manhattan provides survival. A $50 day in Hanoi provides abundance. Understanding this variation transforms how informed travelers choose destinations. It reveals that budget limitations often reflect geography choices rather than actual financial constraints. If maximizing what your money purchases matters to you, these 10 breakdowns change how you evaluate every future trip. 1. United States. The baseline establishes what $50 means where most viewers earn it. In major American cities, $50 per day creates immediate problems. Budget hotel rooms in New York, San Francisco, or Los Angeles start around $150. Even hostels charge $40 to $60 for shared dormitory beds. That single expense already exceeds the entire daily budget. Food compounds the difficulty. A basic breakfast at a coffee shop costs $12 to $18 with tip. Lunch runs $15 to $25. Dinner matches or exceeds lunch pricing. 3 modest restaurant meals total $45 to $70 before any accommodation or transport enters the calculation. Transport adds further strain. Single subway rides cost $3 in most major cities. Uber rides average $15 to $25 for moderate distances. A rental car adds fuel, parking, and daily rates exceeding $50. We attempt a $50 day in Chicago as an exercise in constraint. The smell of deep dish pizza drifts from restaurants we cannot afford to enter. The L train provides transport at $3 per ride, consuming $6 for basic round-trip movement. A food court lunch costs $14. A grocery store dinner of prepared food runs $12. That leaves $18 for accommodation. $18 does not secure any legitimate lodging option in a major American city. The $50 day in America requires camping, couch surfing, or skipping meals to approach feasibility. Marcus, a budget travel blogger based in Denver, summarized the American reality. He said $50 per day is possible in small towns with free camping. In any city tourists actually want to visit, it requires compromises that make travel unpleasant. 2. Djibu, Vietnam. The contrast begins immediately. $50 in Vietnam creates a day that Americans would describe as comfortable, bordering on luxurious. Accommodation absorbs the smallest portion of budget. Clean private rooms in guest houses cost $8 to $15 per night. Mid-range hotels with air conditioning, breakfast included, and swimming pool access run $20 to $30. At the $50 budget, accommodation at the $20 level leaves $30 for everything else. Food costs almost nothing relative to American expectations. Street food breakfasts of passo or banh mi cost $1 to $2. Lunch at local restaurants runs $2 to $4 for generous portions. Dinner at quality establishments serving Vietnamese cuisine costs $4 to $8. Coffee from traditional drip setups costs 50 cents to $1. 3 complete meals plus snacks and drinks total $8 to $15. Transport operates on similar economics. Local buses cost 20 to 50 cents. Grab rides, the Southeast Asian equivalent of Uber, run $1 to $3 for urban distances. Motorbike rentals cost $7 to $10 daily for independent exploration. Internal flights between major cities run $30 to $50. We allocate our $50 in Hanoi across a sample day. $20 secures a private room in the Old Quarter with air conditioning and breakfast. $12 covers 3 restaurant meals, including 1 upscale dinner. $5 funds unlimited grab rides and a coffee shop afternoon. $13 remain for activities, shopping, or savings toward future days. The smell of pho simmering from dawn until midnight permeates every neighborhood. Vendors balance baskets of fresh baguettes and tropical fruits on shoulder poles. The energy pulses through narrow streets where motorbikes navigate with intuitive precision. Lynn, who manages a guest house in Hoi An, explained the economics. She said foreign visitors experience Vietnam at costs that Vietnamese people consider normal. The gap creates value that surprises everyone who arrives expecting higher prices. 3. Thailand. Southeast Asia's most visited country operates on cost structures similar to Vietnam, with slightly higher ceilings. $50 delivers comfortable days that feel indulgent by budget travel standards. Accommodation ranges widely based on location and standards. Beach huts in less developed islands cost $10 to $15. Quality guest houses in Chiang Mai or Bangkok run $15 to $30. Boutique hotels occasionally drop to $40 during low season. The $50 budget allocates $25 to accommodation, leaving comfortable margins. Food costs match or slightly exceed Vietnamese levels. Street food meals run $1 to $3. Restaurant meals range from $4 to $12 depending on establishment type. Rooftop bar drinks in Bangkok cost $8 to $15, consuming budget rapidly if nightlife priorities dominate. Transport varies dramatically by method. Bangkok's BTS and MRT systems charge $1 to $2 per ride. Tuk-tuks run $3 to $8 for short distances after negotiation. Domestic flights average $40 to $80 between major cities. Overnight buses and trains cost $15 to $30 for long distances. We spend $50 in Chiang Mai across a full day. $20 secures a boutique guest house room with pool access and breakfast included. $15 covers street food breakfast, a nice lunch, and a quality dinner. $5 funds unlimited Songthae rides around the old city. $10 remain for a cooking class, temple entrance fees, or evening entertainment. The smell of lemongrass and galangal wafts from cooking stalls. Monks in saffron robes collect morning alms along ancient temple routes. The pace slows into something manageable without losing the energy that makes travel compelling. Chat Chai, a Chiang Mai food tour operator, put the value in perspective. He said visitors live well here on amounts that would cover 1 restaurant meal in their home cities. That compression of cost against experience brings people back year after year. 4. Portugal, Western Europe enters the comparison with surprising competitiveness. $50 stretches further in Portugal than anywhere else in the Eurozone while maintaining developed world infrastructure. Accommodation requires more budget allocation than Southeast Asia. Hostels run $15 to $30 for private rooms. Budget hotels cost $35 to $60 outside peak season. Airbnb options in smaller cities sometimes drop to $25 to $40 for entire apartments. The $50 budget allocates $35 to accommodation in Lisbon, leaving tighter margins than Asia. Food offers legitimate value despite European location. Pastel de nata pastries cost 1 to 2 euros. Coffee at traditional cafes runs €1. Lunch at a local tasca costs 8 to 12 euros, including wine. Dinner ranges from 12 to 20 euros at quality establishments. Daily food budgets of $15 to $25 provide satisfying variety. Transport operates on Portuguese wage scales rather than tourist pricing. Lisbon metro rides cost 1.50 euros. Train tickets to Sintra or other day trip destinations run 3 to 5 euros. Internal flights to Porto or the Azores sometimes drop to 20 euros with advance booking. We budget $50 in Porto across a sample day. $30 secures a private room in a quality guest house near the Ribeira. $15 covers coffee and pastry breakfast, a substantial lunch with wine, and a casual dinner. $5 funds metro rides and a riverfront walk along the Douro. The smell of grilling sardines drifts from restaurants along the waterfront. Fado music escapes from open windows as evening settles over azulejo-tiled facades. The quality of daily life here matches or exceeds more expensive European capitals. Miguel, a Porto native who works in tourism, explained the Portuguese approach. He said, "We never learn to charge what other Europeans charge." That humility benefits visitors who receive quality without corresponding costs. 5 among. India. The most dramatic value on this list operates on cost structures that experienced travelers still find difficult to believe. $50 funds days that feel almost embarrassingly abundant. Accommodation spans from extreme budget to surprising luxury within the $50 range. Basic guest houses charge $5 to $10. Quality mid-range hotels run $15 to $30. Heritage properties and boutique hotels sometimes fall within $50 during off-season. Allocating $25 to accommodation leaves generous margins for everything else. Food costs challenge the concept of budget as a constraint. Street food meals cost 50 cents to $2. Restaurant thalis, the traditional multi-dish platters, run $2 to $5 for unlimited refills. Quality dining at well-reviewed establishments costs $5 to $15. Daily food spending of $10 provides more variety than most stomachs can process. Transport operates on Indian wage scales. Auto rickshaw rides cost $1 to $3 for urban distances. Train travel in sleeper class costs $10 to $30 for overnight journeys between major cities. Internal flights run $40 to $100 depending on route and timing. We allocate $50 in Jaipur across a full day. $20 secures a heritage guest house room in a converted haveli with breakfast included. $10 covers auto rickshaws to multiple destinations across the Pink City. $10 funds 3 restaurant meals, including a rooftop dinner overlooking illuminated palaces. $10 remain for palace entrance fees, shopping, or saving toward future days. The smell of incense and marigold garlands perfumes every temple approach. The call to prayer mingles with Hindu bells and the constant horn symphony of traffic. Colors overwhelm in a country that never learned to mute its palate. Priya, a heritage hotel manager in Udaipur, explained why India remains affordable despite tourism growth. She said the domestic market still drives pricing. Hotels and restaurants compete for Indian travelers who expect value. foreigners simply benefit from structures designed for different purchasing power. This is where the $50 exercise reveals its deeper purpose. The comparison is not merely about where money stretches furthest. It illuminates how cost structures reflect local economies, tourism development, and policy decisions. Countries where tourism dominates learn to extract maximum value from visitors. Countries where domestic markets matter maintain pricing that reflects local realities. Countries in transition offer windows of value before infrastructure development raises costs to match demand. Understanding which category each destination occupies helps predict whether current value will persist or erode. Vietnam and India maintain value because their domestic economies set prices. Thailand shows early signs of tourist zone inflation, while local areas remain affordable. Portugal offers value because euro adoption did not occur, keeping currency flexibility. These dynamics determine whether $50 buys the same experience next year or 5 years from now. 6. Japan. Currency shifts have transformed expectations about Japanese affordability. $50 now purchases days that would have cost $80 or more 5 years ago. Accommodation spans from capsule hotels to quality business hotels within budget. Capsules cost $25 to $40 in major cities. Budget business hotels run $40 to $60. Hostels with private rooms cost $30 to $50. The $50 budget stretches to cover adequate accommodation while leaving margins. Food operates on efficiency rather than scarcity pricing. Convenience store meals cost $3 to $6 for quality that surprises Westerners. Ramen shops charge $5 to $8 for bowls that would cost $18 in American equivalents. Sushi at conveyor restaurants runs $10 to $15 for satisfying meals. Daily food budgets of $15 to $20 provide excellent variety. Transport remains the category where costs accumulate fastest. Single metro rides cost $2 to $3. JR Pass daily rates push against budget limits. The trick involves strategic train pass selection matching actual itineraries. We allocate $50 in Osaka across a sample day. $30 secures a capsule hotel with bath facilities and locker storage. $15 covers convenience store breakfast, a ramen lunch, and a conveyor sushi dinner. $5 funds metro rides between major attractions. The smell of takoyaki octopus balls sizzles from street vendors in Dotonbori. Neon lights reflect off the canal as the evening crowd swells. The efficiency of Japanese infrastructure means no money wasted on delays or confusion. Yuki, a hospitality consultant in Tokyo, explained the current moment. She said the weak yen creates parity between Japanese daily life and visitor experience. Foreign tourists now spend what locals spend for the same quality. 7. Mexico proximity to the United States amplifies value that already competes with Southeast Asian destinations. $50 funds comfortable days in most regions outside resort zones. Accommodation costs vary dramatically by location. Hostel private rooms run $15 to $25. Quality hotels in colonial cities cost $30 to $50. Beach resorts inflate pricing toward American levels, erasing the advantage. The key involves targeting cities and towns rather than resort destinations. Food offers perhaps the strongest value of any cuisine at any price point. Street taco stands charge 50 cents to $2 per taco. Complete meals at fondas, the family-run lunch spots, cost $3 to $5. Quality restaurant dining runs $10 to $20, including drinks. Daily food budgets of $15 provide abundance that challenges appetite capacity. transport operates on Mexican wage scales. Colectivo vans cost $1 to $3 for inner-city routes. Uber functions in major cities at rates 50% below American equivalents. First-class buses between cities run $20 to $40 for long distances. We allocate $50 in Oaxaca across a full day. $25 secures a boutique hotel room in the historic center. $15 covers market breakfast, a fonda lunch, and a quality dinner, including mezcal. $5 funds local transport and incidentals. $5 remain to cooking class deposits or mezcal tastings. The smell of mole negro simmers from restaurant kitchens. Chocolate being ground on stone metats fills market corridors with ancient aromas. The depth of culinary culture here matches anywhere on Earth at fractions of the cost. Ricardo, a Oaxacan chef, explained the value equation. He said the same ingredients and techniques that cost $50 in American restaurants cost $8 here. The food is identical. The geography determines the price. 8. Egypt. Ancient wonders at costs that make history accessible. $50 funds days that include experiences costing hundreds elsewhere. Accommodation operates on tourism recovery pricing. Budget hotels near major sites cost $15 to $30. Quality options run $30 to $50. Nile View rooms sometimes fall within budget during low season. The infrastructure built for higher tourist volumes now serves smaller numbers at discounted rates. Food costs almost nothing by Western standards. Street food like koshari, the national dish, costs $1 to $2. Restaurant meals run $3 to $8. Upscale dining with Nile views tops out at $15 to $25. Daily food budgets of $10 to $15 provide variety beyond what most travelers explore. Transport includes options that would feel luxurious elsewhere. Uber operates in Cairo at rates averaging $2 to $5 for significant distances. Felucca sailboat rides on the Nile run $10 to $15 per hour. Domestic flights to Luxor or Aswan cost $50 to $100. We allocate $50 in Cairo across a sample day. $25 secures a quality hotel room near the Giza Plateau. $10 covers 3 meals including a rooftop dinner. $10 funds Uber rides across the chaotic city. $5 remain for entrance fees or savings. The smell of cumin and coriander drifts from street food carts. The call to prayer echoes across a skyline where minarets compete with apartment blocks. The pyramids rise at the edge of the city, visible from rooftops that cost almost nothing to access. Mahmoud, an Egyptologist who leads private tours, explained the current opportunity. He said tourism has not recovered to pre-revolution levels. The industry needs visitors. That need creates value that full recovery would eliminate. 9. Georgia. The Caucasus nation offers European culture at developing world prices. $50 funds days that would cost $150 or more in Western Europe. Accommodation provides remarkable value. Quality guest houses charge $15 to $25. Boutique hotels in Tbilisi run $30 to $50. Wine country homestays offer room and board for $20 to $35. The $50 budget affords quality that would strain budgets elsewhere. Food operates on Georgian hospitality principles. Khachapuri cheese bread costs $2 to $4. Complete meals at restaurants run $5 to $10. Traditional supra feasts with multiple courses and unlimited wine cost $15 to $25. Daily food budgets of $12 to $18 provide feast-level eating. Transport remains straightforward and affordable. Tbilisi Metro costs 50 cents. Marshrutka minibuses between cities cost $5 to $15. Taxis within cities run $2 to $5. We allocate $50 in Tbilisi across a full day. $20 secures a boutique hotel room in the old town. $18 covers a cafe breakfast, restaurant lunch, and a full supper dinner with wine. $5 funds unlimited metro rides and a taxi to the sulfur baths. $7 remain for activities or savings. The smell of baking tone bread escapes from sidewalk ovens. Sulfur steam rises from bathhouse domes in the historic district. Wine flows with hospitality that feels personal rather than commercial. Georgie, a natural wine bar owner, explained the cultural foundation. He said charging excessive prices to guests would shame a Georgian household. That philosophy extends to commercial establishments. Hospitality ethics constrain profit margins in ways that benefit every visitor. 10. Switzerland. The expensive extreme demonstrates what $50 cannot purchase. Switzerland operates on cost structures that make the $50 exercise almost impossible. Accommodation consumes the entire budget before other categories enter consideration. Hostel dormitory beds cost $40 to $60. Budget hotel rooms start at $120. Airbnb options rarely drop below $80 for any legitimate space. $50 does not secure a bed for the night in most Swiss locations. Food prices match accommodation extremes. Basic cafe meals cost $20 to $30. Restaurant dinners run $40 to $80. Even grocery store prepared foods cost $10 to $15 for modest portions. Daily food budgets of $50 alone provide only 2 modest meals. Transport amplifies the impossibility. Train tickets between cities cost $50 to $100. Urban transport runs $3 to $5 per ride. Rental cars add fuel at European prices plus expensive parking. We attempt $50 in Zurich as an exercise in failure. $50 covers 1 restaurant lunch and a few train rides. No accommodation, no dinner, no experiences beyond the meal. The smell of chocolate and precision engineering permeates everything. Alpine views command prices that match their grandeur. The beauty is undeniable. The accessibility is non-existent at budget levels. Anna, a Swiss tourism researcher, acknowledged the reality directly. She said, "Switzerland is not a budget destination. Visitors must accept higher costs or choose different countries. No amount of clever planning overcomes the fundamental economics. The spectrum across these 10 countries reveals the true nature of travel budgets. $50 is not a fixed experience. It is a variable that geography multiplies or divides. Vietnam stretches $50 into luxury. Switzerland compresses it into impossibility. The same amount of money creates entirely different realities based solely on where it is spent. This understanding transforms travel planning from budget-constrained to geography-informed. The question shifts from, can I afford to travel, to, where does my budget purchase the experiences I want? That reframe opens possibilities that fixed budget thinking closes. Travelers who understand purchasing power parity access experiences that others assume require higher income. The money is identical. The geography creates the difference. The video appearing on screen right now extends this analysis into specific strategies for each budget level. What $100 daily purchases across these same countries? What $25 daily requires in sacrifice versus reward? How to shift between budget tiers strategically during single trips. Watch it if you want to understand not just what your money buys, but how to optimize its allocation across different travel styles. Because the $50 day represents one point on the spectrum, understanding the full range determines how far your travel budget actually reaches.